Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and talk about EDC and to go from there. What I wanted to do was to do something a little bit different. Basically, I wanted to go over the tools that I use the most, apparently in my house. And this is actually a rack, basically that goes actually in my shelf. And this is the tools I seem to use the most. So I just wanted to just basically talk about it, talk about each of the tools, and go from there. And yeah, before I go on further, I want to mention that I'm not really much of a construction person. I'm basically just a guy at a desk, but these are tasks that allow me to basically fix things around the house. And as I said, this is literally on my first shelf. It's a rack that I just put on there. And this is literally nearly 100% of the tools I use. So let me mention two philosophies which are important, which are a little bit crazy, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it. Okay, well, the first one's easy. The second one is hard. The first philosophy is this. I have something called a low usage box. Basically, if there's something I don't use very often, I don't like that taking up like space. So anything I don't use very often, I put it in this box. So basically, anything that I'm actually using all the time are kept in here, which is high usage. Okay. Second concept, which is crazy, but it's what I do, but I could see it being very unpopular, but it's been helping me a lot. What I did was, when I was starting out, and even right now, I was given toolkits and tool sets from, like of all these tools in a toolbox, and what I found was a lot of them I didn't understand what they do, and it's cluttered, it's big, and after a while, what I did was, and this is what's crazy, I got rid of them. I basically donated all of them. And my rationale is if I don't know what the tool does, I don't keep it. And then if it comes time where I need to get that tool, I'm going to get the best version of that tool by just typing Project Farm and whatever that tool is and get the best tool then. But I don't need that tool now, because what I don't want is a bunch of tools that I don't know what they do, right? I'd rather have tools I know what they do. Okay. That being said, I'll go ahead and I'll go over the tools that I really loved and to go from there. Okay, so this is actually a new acquisition here. This is gaffer's tape. I know it's not really that revolutionary, but I watched this channel by Adam Savage, his name is, but he basically was talking about how duct tape actually sucks and gaffer's tape is so much better. And it's because gaffer's tape is pretty much just as strong as duct tape, but it leaves no residue. You ever find, at least with me, like you cut with scissors and you have all this residue that's left on your scissors, or like you put, duct tape on something and it just leaves residue? And his rationale is just use duct tape. I mean, not duct tape, gaffer's tape.
The entire film industry runs on, and gaffer tape is like duct tape went to college and learned how to actually do its job.
And so I've been doing that. Now I threw away all my duct tape, and now I only have gaffer's tape all wrapped around a card. And I find this is, I can't believe I've never done this before. It is so much better than using duct tape. So I have switched to gaffer's tape. Okay, so that's change one. Second thing I want to talk about, this is Inksol by Milwaukee. It's just a permanent marker, but I find that these are so much better than Sharpies, and they're easier to write with. They don't dry very quickly. These are really good. Okay. Third thing I want to talk about is the Slice. This is actually my box cutter that I use every day. Every single time I get an Amazon package, whether it's whether it's a microphone, whether it's a knife, whether it's an IEM, whether it's a backpack, whether all the various things I review on this channel. And the people who watch my channel tend to be split into three areas. Basically, there's microphone people, there's headphones people, there's IEM people, there's knives people, there's I'm opening up a box every single time. And I love the Slice 1051. I think it's a great, just simple knife. I don't need a big honking knife. This gets the job done. And this is actually quite sharp, deceptively sharp, but it's also very safe. It's not like those razor blades where it'll nick you. So very good. Next thing I want to talk about, I actually love these scissors. These are Olfa scissors. I do have the Klein scissors, but I find those are pretty terrible in ergonomics because it will actually kind of crush my fingers. And it's funny because I actually have smaller fingers, I would say, or smaller hands. And I imagine someone else with larger hands, I don't know how the hell they do it, like those Klein electrician scissors. But in my opinion, the Olfa scissors are better scissors for ergonomics. They're a lot more comfortable and they're just as strong in many ways. So, huge fan of the Olfa scissors. The other thing I want to talk about here, man, this thing is awesome. Like I recently used this a couple days ago, So what you want to do, it's okay. So it's the Autical D2, but there's actually an Autical O-Knife expansion set where you get all these bits. And I've seen people, they have the Hoto, but this is actually better because it's just like so compact, and like it's just. And I've been using this for like, whenever you need to put something together, like toys or electronics, small little things, this is perfect for that. And also there's a little slot that opens out, and then you can choose, whatever bits you want. But definitely with the expansion kit and this, it's a really, really cool kit. Okay, next thing I want to talk about are actually I still to this very day, even after so many bits I've tested, I still come back to the Tool Check Plus. It's just so intuitive. You go here, you choose whatever bits you want. You go here, whatever sockets you want. I'm not much of a sockets person. I can't remember last time I had to use sockets very much because I didn't really put cards together. But this is so just genius the way it's put together. It's so intuitive. It's the most odd way I can explain this is your hands go where it wants to go, and I keep just turning it to the Tool Check Plus. Yes, it's pricey. When you look online, it's $90. Yes, you could use something like the Harbor Freight one. I have it somewhere. I have other ones that I have. I've tested tons of bit drivers, but I keep coming back to this one. This one's really good. So that's that. The other one I want to talk about are, I would say, so I keep this just because it's pretty handy. But basically, Klein, they have these double sockets, and these are super handy because now I can't talk about the strength of some of these things, but what I can say is visually, this takes up so much less bulk compared to the other ones. Like I've seen channels where they have these huge, like freaking massive sizes of all these different sockets. And this is like, you could just get this and it only takes up this much space. You know what I mean? Like you don't need all that. Like, I mean, maybe you do if you need to do all this work all the time, but if you do occasional work, this is literally all you need. It covers everything. You know what I mean? And it's super compact. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think these are great. The other thing I want to talk about here are, this is actually the pry bar I probably use the most. This is by Pittsburgh. It's Harbor Freight, like $3. It's just literally a bent screwdriver. But you don't need to spend $500 or whatever on those stupid pry bars. Just buy this. This gets the job done for most pry bar tasks you needed to do, especially from medium tasks to heavier tasks. So that's what I do for that one. These, I don't know, I got this from Harbor Freight as well, but these are basically if you need to hold something like in place for that's really, really tiny, this is really good for that. Although you could probably use tweezers as well, but I just find these are pretty good. And then you just obviously, yeah, so there's that. Obviously, what also I like are Knipex. I've always been a huge fan of them. These two in particular are what I use the most. Although I actually do have the ones where the pliers wrench. I have bunches of them, like literally bunches of them, but I never use those because I find that it's hard for me to explain, or maybe it's easy for me to explain. These grip better, and these are faster. There's something about those. I'll have to go in the back and get it. It's not as fast and it's not as efficient. Yes, but the only thing is these scratch more, but like I can't remember the last time I had to worry about like, oh, I'm going to scratch it. It's like, no, I want that fucking shit opened. You know what I mean? And it's going to get done with this. And so I'm always about the Knipex, just these, the Cobras. And these two pretty much can get almost anything I needed to do. I don't need a whole rack. I find, this is a hot take, but I find that these replace a bunch of open-ended wrenches and replace a bunch of adjustable wrenches. These destroy crescent wrenches. Like these replace like major boxes of stuff I used to have. I was like, you know what? Off you go. I just need this. And I haven't turned back. And honestly, I don't think I'm wrong. I think these are just enough for what you need. So that's that. For flashlights, I actually find myself veering into two particular flashlights, which I use a lot. It's this. I like the Olight because it's just like you pop that open and like you got light, and then you just so handy. I actually bring this when I travel, and usually I have this in my backpacks. When it gets dark in a plane, just boop, and then just like that. This also is pretty handy. It's pretty. I like the way it feels in the hand. But basically it's a flashlight, but it's small and compact. I don't need a big clunker flashlight, right? So there's that. Next thing I want to talk about, I've mentioned this many times, but this is probably one of my favorite bit drivers. Basically, I can use this right here and I can attach a bit at the end. And this is actually the Wera Universal Rapidator. But also I can use this basically, and this is the Topeak Mini driver. It takes a very little space, but when I go like this, I can also, if I need torque, get that done as well. And I don't need a million freaking screwdrivers. Like, I find I could just do this and, you know, use bits from here, and I should be covered. The other thing too is, so I also keep these, but I'm well aware that these don't work with everything, but these are Wiha double-sided bits. And so if I am in a situation where I can't carry as much and I have a small amount of space, like a small little pouch, I find that these can get the job done. And basically what I do is I pair that with these. So basically, so this was actually, and I'll explain what these are for in a few moments, but basically it's not a perfect fit, but it's pretty good. Like, it'll get like, okay, so if I need, like, it's not a perfect fit with the Wera, but it's pretty good. Like, that ain't coming out, you know what I mean? And it's like, it'll get the job done. It can handle double-sided bits pretty well. But obviously one can argue, is this enough torque, right, as it is? And I think it gets the job done for most things. I mean, I put together a chair the other day using just these, but these are also something I'll also check out as well. Okay. The other tool I really like is, I just use the Milwaukee 6-foot. You know, and if I need to get something larger, I do have larger ones, and the larger ones are in my low usage box. But in general, I find this is all I need. So that's that. The other thing I want to talk about is, so this isn't necessary per se. I just find it's handy. But whenever I put like IKEA stuff together, you always find that they always have like hex stuff, and they give you some janky ass tool that's not as good. So I find that I could either do this one of two ways. I basically get one of these, pop that on, and boom, you can really do it this way, and it's a lot faster. Or if I need to get a little bit more torque, then I pop that on here, pop this on here, and dude, now you got a shit ton of torque in there, and it's, you know, like, it's a lot of torque. So, but these are all hex. So these are mainly for whatever uses hexes, which is basically a lot of those freaking furniture things. So there's that. Really cut like smaller, like more precision things. Like, and I don't want to, like, if it's more smaller, like obviously these are more for bigger tasks. But if I want to cut something smaller, these are really great, and these are quite powerful. They can cut right through zip ties. They can cut right through power cord. It's called the Westcott 2-inch. I strongly recommend these. I think these are great scissors, but these are great for like if I want to cut something smaller, you know, in general. So there's that. These are obviously the Steinwell bits. What's great about this is you get a lot of coverage, and when you look at all the bits, it covers all of them, and it's only this much. So these are handy because these are just, you know, it covers a lot of ground. The other thing I want to talk about is, let's see here. This was actually a tool that actually was recommended to me by Parker Binion. And I have this on my desk sometimes. It's so handy. But it actually has a few tools that are actually kind of interesting. So it has like a micro screwdriver here for Phillips, right? And then it also has a micro flat. And then also has a regular flat. And then it has a standard Phillips 2. This is actually kind of handy. And actually, it does have enough torque. And it's quite handy. I like sometimes, this is literally at my desk, like, you know, and I'll just like randomly use this, and it's pretty handy. So there's that. The other thing here, it's obviously the ratcheting sort of, these are sort of the same function, but this is the Leatherman ratchet. And then this is the 711 ratchet, which is basically a more beefier version of this. But basically, these can take double-sided bits, right? So as an example, if I need to do something like this, this is a double-sided bit, either that side or that side. This can take that. It's not the perfect fit, but it will. And if I need extra torque, then again, pop this on here, and now you've got torque, and you can get that done. Or in this case, it's actually ratcheting, so you can actually change the direction here. So it could be ratcheting. So these are kind of in the same camp. This right here, I really love it. It's probably one of my favorite bit drivers. This is the 711 Lollipop. What I like about this is easily compact, and you can put bits in here, and basically it goes like this, and you get torque. Pretty genius and really compact. So they definitely have this. And for micro stuff, I usually, along with what I mentioned before with, along with this, which in my opinion, this is all you need for micro, but if I have time and I'm at home, I'm usually going with these, which are really, really good. Basically, these are Wera, you know, for more precision tasks. and I really love these. And so I've been experimenting with this one by Weeha, and I have now, after I've been using it for some time, I'm a little conflicted on it. What I don't like is like it just feels like, and maybe it just takes time, but it just feels like these things just are really stuck on there, and so it takes some time to getting used to. But or it might be a situation where you just take it off and you loosely put it on there. But sometimes it just feels like it's just holding on for dear life. It's not coming out, you know, and you're like, fucking get out of there, you know? Then I feel like if you just maybe put it back on and kind of, but then it makes me wonder, now that I've used this for some time, is this actually better than something like, where did I put it? Than this. You know, this is more compact and it covers, like, what is actually better between this? Is it better to have this? Well, I don't know. It's tough because you could also break this apart, right? And, but it's a tough call. Like, but I just find that I've been using this and I used it not too long ago and it's just super handy. Like, it's because it's double-sided as well. And, you know, you literally, let me just go ahead and quickly demonstrate. You know, you take out one of these out like that and you pop that onto the edge. And dude, I mean, because at the end of the day, these sort of electronics, when you're using these sort of bits, don't require that much torque. It's usually very fragile or very, like, you know, you got to be really careful about it anyway. So why, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't bother with the big Hoto ones. I think these are actually kind of better. And like I said, with the expansion kit, they're a lot more useful. So there's that. But yeah, I already talked about these. I bought this actually more recently. This is the smaller version of the Hoto. And, you know, you open that up and, you know, you got bits in here. Is this better than the other ones? I don't know, but it looks pretty rad. So, you know, this is not the 24-bit one. This is the smaller one. But maybe that's pretty easyable, pretty cool. It's in my primary box for right now. And then I think I covered that and that and that. And yeah, well, this is something I keep in my primary because I want to use it. Like, I want to use it, but I haven't been using it. But basically, it's made by James, you know, the company. And I think looks-wise, it looks beautiful. Like, if you look at it, I mean, the video doesn't do it justice, or maybe it does. But you see that? That is, like, really sleek. But all it is basically, it's a bit driver, you know, that takes, like, regular bits, right? So you pop that in, you do this here, you know, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But I never got around to using it. But what I was also saying before, which is actually very much true, I feel a lot of these pen sort of screwdrivers actually kind of suck, because what happens is, let's just put you in a scenario, right? Then you have all these bits inside. Then what you're doing is what? What are you doing? You're basically, this is what you're doing. Like, basically, you want to open it up, and then now you got to be like taking it out and finding the bit, and that's not fast. Like, I want something where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, and the other method, it's like, I literally can just go, I know exactly what I want. I'm like, I want that, or I want that. I know exactly what I want. And then basically I go, okay, I want that. Boop, and I go like that. That's what I want. Boom, you got it. Versus this sort of action, which slows you down. You know, like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But I think that's pretty much all I use for major